Hello students, myself Om Prakash Katte and you are welcome to Biology Reward. Today we are discussing the class 10th chapter, our environment, and very important topic of the chapters we are discussing, and it is food chain, food web and trophic level. Students, each and every organism, we need the food, and by this food we are getting the energy to perform the different activities. So in our ecosystem, a chain is there where the many organisms occurs in that chain, and one organism is feed to the other organism. So by this process, the transfer of energy occur from one organism to other organism, or one trophic level to other trophic level. So food chain is a chain. It's a chain. In briefly, we can say in this it is a chain, and it indicates who eats whom. It is the chain which indicates who eats whom. It means by this chain we come to know which organism feed to other organism in the ecosystem. So the food chain is a chain which indicates who eats whom, and by this process what happened? Transfer of energy. This transfer of energy occurs from one organism to other organism. It means it is a chain in which the transfer of energy occurs from one organism to other organism. So this is a definition of food chain. It is a chain which indicates that who eats whom, or this is the chain which indicates that transfer of energy from one organism to other organism in ecosystem or in trophic level. We have to understand the food chain. There are the two different types of food chain, and these two food chains occur in our environment. And this food chain we are categorizing into two categories. One is called grazing food chain, that is called GFC, grazing food chain, and another food chain is called DFC, that is called detritus food chain. Let's we understand the grazing food chain. So grazing food chain, this is the one chain where grasses, and these grasses are fed by the deer, and deer are fed by the tiger. So this chain where the primary producer are the grasses, and the grasses are fed by the other organism, it's a deer, and deer is fed by other organism, it is the tiger. So here what happened? The transfer of energy occur from grasses to deer and deer to tiger. So this type of, if a primary producer is in the first trophic level, so this type of food chain is called the grazing food chain. So let's three food chains are given in our book. We have to understand these three food chains. First of the food chain in our book is given. It's about the grazing food chain, forest food chain. So forest food chain. First one chain we are discussing, it's the forest food chain. And in forest food chain, these plants, they trap the solar energy, prepare the food, and these plants prepare the food by photosynthesis. These plants are fed by deer, and the deer is fed by the tiger. It means in this food chain, forest food chain is a one type of grazing food chain. So plants are the producer. These are the producer. And these plants are producer are fed by the primary consumer. This is the primary consumer. And this primary consumer is fed by the tiger. So here tiger will be secondary consumer. So this is the food chain which indicates who eats whom, and it indicates transfer of energy from one organism to other organism, and is an example of forest food chain. Another food chain which is given in our book is the food chain is the grassland food chain. Grassland food chain. In this food chain, grassland, this is forest food chain. In grassland food chain, it's the plants and grasses. The grasses are fed by the some insects. Insects are feeding on the grasses. Then insects are fed by frog. Frog is fed by snake. And snake is eaten by the bird. So this type of food chain, it is occur in the grassland ecosystem. It was in the forest ecosystem. So grassland ecosystem, it's a primary producer plants. They trap the solar energy and prepare the food. Then the plants are consumed by insects. So transfer of energy thus take place from plant to insect, insect to frog, frog to snake, and snake to bird. When the birds are feeding on the snake, then energy get transferred from snake to bird. So this is also an example of the grazing food chain, because in this food chain the producer are the main source for the food and other organisms they are feeding to the. In such cases the smaller organisms are fed by large organism. As example, frog is a large organism as compared to the insect. And third food chain also we have, it is given the pond. In the pond food chain. So food chains occur in the pond, and this food chain is pond food chain. In this pond food chain, generally in plants that we are having aquatic plant, and aquatic plant I am mentioning here as the algae and other also. These aquatic plants are fed by the larva of insects. So insects are feeding the aquatic plant. These insects are fed by the fishes, and these fishes are fed by the bird. So this is another food chain. It is the food chain of pond ecosystem. So what is food chain? It is the series and sequence of the organism so that transfer of energy from the one organism to other organism, or simply we used to say who eats whom. A chain which indicate who eats whom is called the food chain, and we have to study these three food chain. Forest food chain, example plant, deer and tiger. Grassland food chain, it's the plant, insect, frog, snake and bird. And pond food chain is the aquatic plant which are the producer. Then larvae of insect are feeding on the plant, and then fishes are feeding on the larvae of insect and the bird. So overall in this diagram also you can understand there are the three food chain, and these generally are asking the examination. The question may be given to you, write or draw the diagram of forest food chain, grassland food chain and pond food chain. So you have to draw this diagram which is depicted or which is shown in the picture. Second important part after the grazing food chain, we have the detritus food chain, which is also called the DFC. In this grazing food chain, we have started from the plant. Plants are the main producer which drop the solar energy and prepare the food. But other food chain is the detritus food chain. We should understand what do you mean by detritus. So detritus food chain, first you understand these are the dead parts, and these dead parts it may be of plants or maybe of animals. So dead and dead part, decay parts are also dead. So dead and decay part of plants and animals, and these are fed by the some microbes. This microbe may be bacteria. This microbe may be fungus, generally mushroom we know. In that mushroom are agaricus Agaricals or mushroom, they grow, they feed on dead and decay parts of the plants and animals. So bacteria, some fungus, these are the microorganisms, as we are using to say saprophytes. They feed on dead and decay organic matter. So what happens in this food chain? The food chain is begin with dead and decay parts of plants and animals, and this is fed by the bacteria and fungus. So this food chain is called the detritus food chain. So detritus food chain is begin with the dead and decay organic matter, and this dead and decay organic matter are from the plants and animal, and bacteria, fungus, as mushroom, it's grow on the dead part of the plant, dead and decay part of plant. So this food chain is called the detritus food chain. So we have to study about the food chain, bridging food chain, all these three food chain, and detritus food chain. Second important part is in our ecosystem, only organisms feeds on the one other organism is not enough for the stability. So what happened? There are many food chains. Now to see many food chains, this many food chain get interconnected. Many food chain, they interconnected, and once they are interconnected with each other, then it is called the food web. So simply we used to say network of food chain. So the network of food chains, which are many food chains, are interconnected to each other, and this network of the food chain is called the food web. In this diagram also see the picture shows the large number of the food chains are there, and these food chains are interconnected with each other. So in such cases, in food web, what happens? The one organism is not dependent only on the other organism. So there are the alternative sources for the food for each organism. And if alternative sources of foods are for the organism, one organism will disappear, so they will obtain the food from the other organism. So food web, it's provide the stability to our ecosystem. So we have to understand the one food chain by taking the few examples. I am having the one food chain, and this food chain you should understand, children. In this food chain there are the many chains. So I am taking the few chains only, and it's a diagram of food web. So food web, many food chains are connected to each other. One example we can understand, this is the grass, and this grass are fed by insects. Grass are fed by insect. Insect is fed by snake, and snake is fed by the bird. This is the one food chain. Another food chain is, this is the grass eaten by insects, and these insects are directly eaten by the bird. One example of grass grains are eaten by the rat. Rat are eaten by the frog. Frog is eaten by the snake, and snake eat the bird. One more food chain is here. Grass, it's eaten by the rabbit, and after this, rabbit is fed by the bird. So another food chain, I mean grass, grasshopper, it means insect. This insect is fed by lizard, and lizard are fed by bird. So here we can understand very easily when many food chains are interconnected to each other, and it is called the food web. So here I have mentioned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 food chains. Here it is 5 food chain. So these 5 food chain are interconnected. Suppose grasses are fed by the insect, and that insects are fed by the bird. So birds feed the insect. If insects are not available, so birds can feed the snake also. The birds can feed the rabbits also. So birds can feed the lizard also. So there are many alternative sources for the food in case of the food web. So this is about the food web. It means interconnection of the food chain. Second important part now we are discussing, and it's about the trophic level. Students, as we have learned what is a food chain, so I am depicting the one important thing. One food chain I am having plant. These plants are fed by the insects. Insects are fed by the frog. Frog is fed by the snake. Snake eats frog. And this is the bird. So it is a long food chain. So in ecosystem, the longer food chains are occur very few. In ecosystem, there are these short food chain. And why? Because inside food chain, availability of energy occurs more. So first we should understand now what is trophic level. It is one food chain. In food chain, we come to know what is the position of each organism in the food chain. So it is position of each organism. Position of each organism in food chain. So what is the position of each organism in a food chain? In which level the organism is placed in the food chain, it is called the trophic level. We should understand. Here this is trophic level plant. First trophic level. So plants come in the first trophic level in this food chain. Insect come in the second trophic level in the food chain. This is come in the second trophic level. This is come in the first trophic level. It shows the plant position is first in this food chain. It shows the insect position is second in the food chain. This frog is come third position in food chain. Snakes fourth position in this food chain. So it is called fourth trophic level. It's come third trophic level. Then birds, it is on the top trophic here. It means it's represent the fifth trophic level of the food chain. So food chain's trophic level we can very easily understand. It is the place of an organism. It is the position of an organism in the food chain, and it is called the trophic level. In this diagram we can also understand. First one, these are producer. The producer are fed by primary consumer. This is fed by secondary consumer. And it is fed by top consumer. That's we should understand by one example. Producer, it means plants. So this producer or plants always they comes in first trophic level. This represents first trophic level. Plants are fed by primary consumer. So what are the primary consumer? These are the herbivorous organisms. Organism feeds on the grasses. They are herbivorous organism. So this herbivorous organism comes in the second trophic level. Secondary consumer, it means those organisms feeds on the herbivorous organism, and this comes to carnivorous. So the carnivorous come in the third trophic level, and those organisms feeds on the both carnivorous and herbivorous. So here we can understand omnivorous organism, and this omnivorous organism they comes on the fourth trophic level. So in any food chain, the position of an organism will be different. So one organism represents the different position in different food chain. So let's become the place of organism in food chain is called the trophic level. One example also we can take the position of organism in food chain and their trophic level. Look at here, I am having the one forest food chain. In forest food chain, plant, then deer, and then it is the tiger. So it is a one forest food chain. In forest food chain, now if it is asked which of these one, what is the position of the plant? So plants are producer, they comes in the first trophic level. The deer come in second trophic level. Tiger come in third trophic level. So the position of each organism in the food chain is known as the trophic level, and in the diagram also you can see the trophic level of different organism. It means position of different organism in the different position of the organism in the food chain. So here it is all about food chain. So let's I have to revise this food chain. The food chain is a sequence of organism in the chain. A chain in which organisms are sequentially arranged and transfer of food or transfer of energy take place from one organism to other organism. And two types of food chain, one grazing food chain and detritus food chain. Grazing food chain we have learned forest food chain, pond food chain, as well as the grassland food chain. And the network of the food chain, this is known as the food web. Many food chains are connected to each other to form the food web, and this food web provide the stability to the ecosystem. And the place and position of an organism in food chain is called the trophic level. Thank you.